this is us going into the week of um, August 5th.
Good morning.
Morning, Carlos. We're just getting started here, so you're all good. Alright, so starting off with SPY first. We do need to keep in mind where we are actually going to be opening right now. So with SPY, we're opening up right at 412, which is about here. So it looks like we actually filled some really nice imbalances here on the weekly time frame. Previous weekly time frame imbalances that are sitting below us. I actually do like this spot that we're sitting at right now, actually. And this was our weekly target, actually, I believe, from last week. I did want to back test into this previous high up here. So I do actually like where we're sitting at right now, as we did fill this imbalance, and we actually have a couple more overhead, or we're forming most likely one overhead, probably with today's close. So that'll be a really nice spot to see. I believe fib should also be here as well. Yeah, this is a beautiful fib spot right here as well on SPY. It's a really nice spot. And we're sitting at, we could technically come down a little bit lower, down to 509, which I think we actually did for the overnight lows. I know we're sitting at lows right now. We were sitting right at 512 flat. So we technically could come down a little bit more, probably like the 509 or even 500 psych. 500 psych would be a pretty crazy level if we did get there, but that would invalidate that GP setup on SPY. So that is something you would want to, kind of be careful of right there. If we did decide to pull over, as we don't really have an imbalance down here as well at this 500 psych level. It really is just that psych level, to be honest. So here I would actually like to see potential higher low come in, but I probably wouldn't bet on it, right? We did fill, as I said, this weekly imbalance as we are well sitting in this weekly GP here. So this definitely wouldn't be a bad long spot, but with all the aggressive selling that we're getting right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually just flush straight through this. But we'll see what happens when we go into the open. Downside targets, or lower downside targets, like I said, for me is probably going to be to this 500 psych level. And I really want this level to hold here for sure. Otherwise, if we do get below this, um, we're probably going to go all the way back to almost COVID levels, maybe? Maybe not COVID levels, but yeah, before we had this kind of rally below that 500 psych level, we have definitely do have room down to like 470s, which would be pretty crazy if we did get that. But daily time frame structure, I believe they should be pretty much the same. Yeah, like I said, we are opening up right at 412 here, so definitely on the lower end for sure. We definitely could also come down to 509 here, so we do have about another $4 drop if we did want to kind of come lower. So I would be keeping an eye on this 509 level here on SPY if we were looking to take a long, if we did get continued selling into the open today. But that's really it. Honestly, there's not really too much. We do still have overhead imbalances to fill, and we are going to create a very large gap for today's open, most likely. So that's going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, that's really it. I'd imagine it'd be similar structure with QQQ. So QQQ is sitting at 424 right now. So actually a lot lower. I'll just put a line here so you guys have reference from where we're sitting at. So we are sitting right here on QQQ. Very interesting spot here. You see we are sitting actually below this uh, weekly GP as well as even daily GP. It also depends on how you drop it. Now this would right here definitely be the swing low for sure. So yeah, we are opening up below the GP level, so this level definitely would have to hold where we're sitting at right now. Otherwise, could actually, no, actually, I think we do have room. Yeah, if we get below this 424 level, we have room to this kind of previous high right here, which would be about 412 or even 400 psych level. So this right here would be my next area of interest overall if we did decide to pull and break below kind of like this support. You see, we have a bit of a support right here on this weekly time frame that was holding 427. So we definitely could keep an eye on that, but otherwise, probably below this 424 level. It's hard to tell just because these levels are really big, and we have pretty much a really, really big gap as well to kind of work with. Um, yeah, probably below 424, I guess, would probably send us down to 412, which would be this previous low right here. And then otherwise, we may look to even, sit in between here a little bit and come down to this 400 psych level. But honestly, that's really all we technically have to work with as we haven't really been trading at these levels in a while, and we don't really have a whole lot of data to really work off of. Well, I actually do like this level because if you look to the left here, previous 400 psych level back in December, we see was also a previous high right there on the 3 year. Yeah, yeah, this isn't a bad spot. Yeah, this is previous all-time high right here. So this is actually a really nice spot. I'm a fan of this 400 level. So I may actually look to even target that for downside levels. Would not hate that spot at all. Cool. All right. Take a look at the daily. Said daily should pretty much be the same exact thing. For the most part, yeah, we're sitting at 423.40 now. Okay, so we are continuing to pull down here a little bit. Yeah, so definitely it would be the breakout level here. I think a refined level for me, a little bit something that's a little bit better, would be below 420. Below 420, we'll probably see that move down to 413. And it looks like we had previous imbalance here, something like that. The ECB actually got a perfect back test into, so we had this previous imbalance right here, came up, got a perfect back test into that, and then we had that really nice push higher, but that's really all I have for that. Otherwise, like I said, I do still like this kind of like level from like 412 to 400 psych. And as I mentioned, we are sitting below the GP, which is technically invalid, and then we most likely are going to be rejecting this 200 EMA. All right, what's going to be important though is that we need to see whether or not we are going to actually be able to get this weekly close below this 430 level. That's going to be really, really interesting for me. Or even, actually, let's just say this 414. This is going to be the kind of level to watch if we get a weekly candle close below 414. Because that would be probably not too good for us if we did see that. But we will we will see for sure. But I think that's pretty much it with Qs. And not really a whole lot going on, as we are technically extended now with the downside. Um, this is what we were keeping an eye out on the past 2 weeks is literally just continuous selling pressure to come in, or getting a little bit of a correction, right? After that rally that we had. So this move was expected, but also unexpected, especially with the numbers we're getting for today. Wow, we're sitting at 421 already. So we actually are continuing to sell here. So yeah, this is a really interesting spot for me. Let's take a look at individuals though, see how they're doing. Apple big move down. All right, Apple on the weekly is going to be opening right at 200 psych level. So this is actually a really, really nice spot here as well. We see that this is one of our, I think, last week's weekly targets. We had previously had this weekly imbalance that we were looking to fill. We are sitting right now at this 200 psych level. So this is a perfect, one of my perfect targets here in terms of individuals. We do have a little bit more room to fill this gap all the way down to 197. So we could see a little bit more selling come in to actually fill that imbalance. And then we maybe even could see a little bit of slippage past it and then have a weekly candle close inside of it. But that'll be the main thing that I'll be keeping an eye on is um, for this week's candle to close above probably 195. Yeah, probably one. Let's just say 197. 197 will be the level to watch for me for a weekly candle close. Be keeping an eye on that. But yeah, we are filling a lot of this imbalance, and we are also sitting at this 200 psych level. So this could be definitely a short-term relief bounce. However, I wouldn't look to take anything immediately just yet, as we are still technically continuing to sell, and we do still have a little bit more room here to work with. Daily time frame, and not a whole lot going on here. Yeah, same exact thing here actually in terms of or from that weekly. Uh, Same thing, daily imbalance right here, which would be filled down to 197, and that's really it. I'll be honest. Below that, we do have a little bit of room to work with, but for the most part, this would be definitely the level to hold, this 197, even on a daily time frame as well. I'd like to see that. Otherwise, we could technically extend this trend line right here, which that actually would have been the breakout for that move lower. Yeah, I mean, this definitely does have room if it wanted to, probably below 197. We probably have room down to about 190. So that's actually a pretty big move there as well. So that'll probably be another thing we want to keep an eye on if we do get this break below that imbalance. Microsoft, where are we sitting? 384. 384 is, oh wow, look at that. Perfectly to this weekly time frame imbalance. Same targets as that we were keeping an eye out on last week. Yeah, we did get this break below that 400 psych level, so now we are tapping into the top of this weekly time frame imbalance. We have room to fill it down to about 374, so we technically have about another $10 move down here if we were looking to completely fill this. This was also a previous flag breakout here, as you can see on the weekly. Really, really nice overall flag break. Um, so this would technically be a break and retest structure of this previous support down here, fill this imbalance, and then I would like to see some buying step in after that. Otherwise, we have actually lower imbalances to fill below this. So yeah, I would expect this 380 level to hold. Otherwise, probably below 370, no, 367. Below 367, we could see a move down to fill these imbalances and then come back to this previous high support, which is going to be down to 340. So that would be a pretty crazy move there as well. But yeah, I think that's it for that. Take a look at the daily. Daily should be pretty much the same exact thing. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, we do have this imbalance that we just tapped off of. As I said, right at 384. Same exact structure on the daily though. And then a previous flag break. Yeah, so this spot from like 376 to 366 is going to be a really interesting spot. I would expect a lot of ranging here if we did come into this kind of area right here. So that'll be something to keep an eye out on. Otherwise, now that we are tapping into this 384 level, right? This, if we do decide to fill it, it should be a pretty much a straight shot down to 375, which is the top of that previous flag structure right there. All right, take a look at Google now. Where are we sitting at? We are 156. 6 is. Oh wow, look at that. 156 is literally right here where we're sitting at. And you can see I have a trend line here, right? You guys see I have a kind of weekly trend line here that's being drawn out. So this actually would be a level to hold. Otherwise, if we get this breakdown from this higher low structure on the weekly, this might even look better on the monthly. Let's take a look at the monthly. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better on the monthly. So this would be a very, very interesting level for me to hold here on Google. I prefer this monthly candle to actually hold this trend line. I wouldn't be surprised if we did get this break lower. Um, maybe even fill this previous imbalance. But no, I do like this spot. As we see, we also have a monthly imbalance sitting right here. All right, something like this on a monthly time frame. That would be to 150. But then if we head to the weekly, that would also kind of line up with our lower trend line. Yes, we might get a little bit more of a breakthrough, but for me, as I mentioned, I'm more interested in the structure on the monthly time frame. And this would also line up with our finished correction period as I don't know if you guys remember, I'm expecting this correction to kind of continue through August, right? I'm looking for this to continue through roughly mid to end of August, and then that's when we'll start seeing some buying stepping in coming into the election. So this spot will be a pretty interesting spot for me in terms of the monthly candle close, but in terms of the weekly and daily, yeah, this would be a level to hold here. Otherwise, below this 155 level that we're sitting at, probably below 152, we could look to go for this weekly gap fill right here down to 144. And then the daily, yeah, that looks like a gap right here on the daily. So you see, you had this previous gap, daily time frame structure here. We are sitting at 156, so it looks like we are actually opening, probably going to open right below it or right inside it with today's open. So we did technically fill that imbalance, technically, as we are kind of opening back down here. But we do have a little bit more room to work with to tap off this lower trend line there. So we could definitely see a little bit more room down to 153 and 151. Like I said, 151 would probably be that breakout level if we did decide to pull lower. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we have to keep in mind we are also going to create another gap with this move here. So this is going to be interesting spot to see here. But no, I do like the setup on Google on the monthly time frame, as this would line up with my overall thesis for this correction. Take a look at Nvidia here. Come on, there it is. All right, Nvidia. We are opening up right at 191. Very, very nice spot here. Okay, so it looks like we see that we did fill that weekly time frame imbalance, pull down past our 100 psych level, which is one of the levels we were targeting, and then we pull down to this previous high zone over here. Now, down at this 191 level, we do actually have room to work with. However, I will actually be a direct buyer in the mid 80s. Okay, this 80 region on Nvidia, I will be a direct buyer in terms of long-term shares. Okay, so keep an eye out for this, as I most likely will also signal an ad for my long-term portfolio. So be watchful of that. But no, I definitely do like this little spot right here. More a fan of 180, sorry, not 184, 84 flat here. So we definitely do have room to work with here. Yeah, we're sitting at 91. So we probably would need to switch to the smaller time frames to see what areas of support we're going to be working with. But from this 191 level here, yeah, if we don't hold this, we have room down to 86. Pretty wide range overall, but this definitely could play out for sure. And then, like I said, I probably will be a direct buyer within the mid to lower 80s with Nvidia. So keep that in mind. And we have earnings for Nvidia coming in at the end of the month, so it'll also be very interesting for that. But I do like this level that we're kind of coming into with Nvidia, so we technically do have room a little bit more, but this definitely would be a really, really good dip buy opportunity spot for me, as I said. And this also would line up with with my overall thesis for this correction. I continue to sell into August, mid-August, towards end of August, and then that's when we'll see this kind of correction slow down and us start seeing some buying pressure come in. So yeah, this would make sense for me with Nvidia as we would kind of come into this, previous high area, kind of chop here a little bit, or even continue to sell going throughout the month. Tap into this roughly mid 80 or even lower 80 region, and then I'll be a direct buyer for shares there. And I think that's it. In terms of individuals, take a look at the calendar. In terms of the calendar, we don't really have too much going on this week. Yeah, literally like nothing. Friday we don't have anything. Yeah, literally nothing. Wholesale inventories Thursday at 10, along with jobless claims, but yeah, really not a whole lot. Today we do have, I guess, PMI and ISM at 9:45 and 10, but besides that, it's looking like next week is really going to be the more important catalyst. So next week we do have PPI, CPI. Yeah, so those are going to be a little bit more important compared to this week. So yeah, it might be a little bit more of a slower week potentially. Can't really can't really say just based off the current volatility that we're getting, but for me that's kind of what um I'm reading. But we would have to see how we open up today. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anyone have any questions? No? All right. So, let's actually switch topics and then head into what this is giving us for our long-term portfolio, right? Because I know Carlos was talking about that. But for me,
Yeah, I didn't want to ask because
yeah,
I
okay,
knew you would talk about it.
okay. Did you have a question, or did you just want to talk about that?
No, 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 I was waiting for this.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Thank you,
so
thank
for the longer term portfolio, right? For me, this really is just a dip buy opportunity. Um, yeah, I think that's really it for me. I mean, we've come down to, like I said, based off our dip buy spot here, I may look to reload on pretty much everything actually on this dip, although I do have a lot of shares at very good pricings. I'm not sure about you, Carlos. Um, so this definitely can be pretty interesting spot here, and depending on where you have your actual, overall shares here. But for me, I would still be up overall on my portfolio, but this definitely did take out a pretty good chunk of money for sure. But this for me, I think is just going to be a little bit of a dip buy opportunity for us to pull higher going into the upcoming years. And I don't know about you, like this long-term portfolio for me, I will be looking to hold this, for 10, 20, 30 years plus, most likely. I don't think I plan on selling anything relatively soon. So yeah, for me, this really just, like I said, a dip buy opportunity for me to hold going into the future. So that's the way I'm seeing this. Could I run stops for my long term? Yes, you technically could, depending on what your overall average is. But even if I did take an average on a lot of these shares here, I still would have a relatively really good price actually. So yeah, kind of hard to say, I'll be honest. But yeah, for me, I'm not really too worried about my long term, as for me, I am still getting paid through dividends and whatnot. Like I said, this really is just a correction that we were kind of expecting, right? To buy opportunity here, and I think that's really it. I mean, all of these names, like I said, are approaching our kind of correction targets, so I probably would wait a little bit longer. Like I said, probably towards the mid to end of August is when I would like to load up on more shares, most likely. Okay. Do you have anything specific? I think you did. I feel like I didn't answer your question.
Are you maybe looking into some other sectors other than tech?
Mm, probably not, to be honest. I mean, probably look to load on some Vanguard ETFs. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Vanguard at all.
Not me really.
Not okay. Well, for me,
Not
this
really.
is pretty much just like an investment fund. Oh, it's an ETF, but just type in Vanguard here. Yeah, this is pretty much just a whole bunch of like ETFs that focus on, different areas within a market. So we see we have Russell right here, mid cap growth. Um, there's a whole lot of small caps. There's that way.
Yeah, I have Vanguard also. They have ETFs that
Mm,
divide and is really big.
yeah,
So you can get like really cheap. Yeah.
yeah. So you get to buy stuff like VU, which is the SPY, VNQ. Uh, yeah, it's like different areas within the market. So it's just, for me, if you're not really looking to focus on anything specific and you're looking to really just get more so ETFs, I definitely probably would go with Vanguard for me, as I do have a lot of their shares or ETFs, sorry.
Mm.
Yeah, they have like different areas where you could focus on. So they have, ETFs to focus on dividends, longer term, shorter term. Um, and there's a lot of really good stuff with them. So that's probably what I would look to. I probably wouldn't look to focus into other individuals from different sectors. For me, for individuals, I'm really keeping it with just tech for the most part. But overall, my portfolio is divided through ETFs for the most part. And that's really it.
Okay, I will take a look at it.